locked in on cup though. Cocaine in my nose, yeah, got rose in my cup though. Started climbing my pole, she got me locked in on cup though. Cocaine in my nose, yeah, got rose in my cup though. Started climbing my pole, she got me locked in on cup though. Cocaine in my nose, yeah, got rose in my cup though. Started climbing my pole, she got me locked in on cup though. Cocaine in my nose, yeah, got rose in my cup though. Started climbing my pole, she got me locked in on cup though. Cocaine in my nose, yeah, got rose in my cup though. Started climbing my pole, she got me locked in on cup though. Cocaine in my nose, yeah, got rose in my cup though. Started climbing my pole, she got me locked in on cup though. Cocaine in my nose, yeah, got rose in my cup though. Started climbing my pole, she got me locked in on cup though.
everyone and welcome to PSGL. Sorry I've had to cut the head off there. I just need to see if the audio is working. I've had a message in the chat to say that we have no audio, which we didn't. We don't have any audio for the ads and I do apologise for that. But welcome to PSGL. Oh, the audio's there, on that at least. Yep, we do have audio, so apologies for that little mishap there with the intro. For some reason, told me the audio was playing, but the audio wasn't. And this is F5. As you can see, I'm on my own in the comms booth. Bit unfortunate, couldn't get a co-commentator with me tonight, but it's not going to stop me from bringing you some nice racing action. And of course, before we get in there, we can take a quick look at the driver lineup once again. So we have Tristan Derbico, your winner of Miami, did win last week. Going out in Miami was commentated by Nathan, I believe. It was a lovely race to watch. Nasir Kisrani, Sasha Neeb, Maxim Rusavsky, Julian 28, Adrian Berner, Menno de Bever, Cesar K, Istvan Tomasi, Smith, Noah Licopore. I get that wrong all the time. It's difficult. Scenario 7, Luke Mills, Ryan Jacobs, Charles Sutton, Lighty, Pablo Matex, Evan Devaney, Hops, and onto the reserves, Alessandro Poi, Miltos Karafalidis, Joel Lindstrom, Joa Piana, and Dennis JGK. So you line up, but like I say, Britain and Miami out of the way, and we're here now in Austria, the Red Bull Ring, one of my favourite tracks. Very fast, but it's only 318 kilometres long, 2.683 miles. It's 10 turns, 7 to the right and 3 to the left, and of course 3 spicy DRS zones, which surely bring out a lot of racing action. But now, enough from me, let's get into the action as qualifying has started. So there's currently a big... Oh, I've had a major stutter there as the screen's changed. Apologies for that. Yeah, we seem to be running sweet there, but a major flux of cars coming out of the pit lane and getting themselves onto the track straight away. The conditions are looking a little bit grim, if I say so myself. Looks like that sky's a little grey, but we're currently on board with Pablo, who's absolutely sending it now. But he's not the first to potentially set a lap. Is it Scenario? Nope, I need to find out which one it is. It could be car number 11. It's not. There's so many cars with the black colour, it's difficult to differentiate who is who. But it is a purple to go out in front. So it's Miltos Karafalidis to come out first and try and get that first lap in. Is he pushing? We can't see the flashing light on the rear of the car, so that tells me that he is trying to cook it now around 6 and 7. Again, the only 2 left-handers in the rest of the track, which introduce you to Sector 3 as you get the power down now to the very fast right-hander at turn 10. You really need to watch your entry speed here, not take too much curb, but you run it wide onto the apex, and that will invalidate you. Same again coming on the exit, but there we see Miltos using the absolute most of track limits, and will set that first time. Next across the line, it's Tristan Derbico, your race winner from last week, to take pole away. We have Pablo into P2, Ryan Jacobs going into P4, Julian into P5. We have Dennis Rock now getting a lap in. Nasir, I'm guessing, Kisrani, Naskai. Nasir now going into P8. A lot of drivers now getting those laps out quick. That tells me the conditions could be bleaking very fast. But Adrian Berner on an out lap, just about to start his flying lap. Everybody rocking the black colours. That's going to make it fairly difficult. When is PCF1? That I'm unsure about, my friend. I can not confirm about when it's coming. We hope soon. We want to see those boys out on the track once again. But it looks like Matex is... letting everybody past. I should have been on board with Berner as he sets purple sector 1. Coming round turn 3 now, opening that rear wing. DRS zone 2 is now available. Flying down as fast as he can, really trying to maximise the speed before he needs to send it through to the right, dropping it down to potentially 5th gear, depending on his exit speed, depending on his entry speed. Trying to get the power back down now as he downshifts twice and flies around the left-hander. You're again an easy place to run it off and get inside that gravel trap, and again through turn 7. Another place to run it off wide and get yourself in a bit of trouble flying onto the gravel, but he's keeping it nicely and on the track. I think he's flying to the pits as he does take the pit lane. So it's not a lap. I think it's raining. He's just been caught out. That's it. He cannot set a lap. He has been caught out. into the pits, and here comes the rain. Wow. So everybody with an influx straight away, straight out onto the track, trying to set those laps. They had to do it. They needed to do it no matter what they did. But there's still some cars braving it out there. Cars who think they could improve, but the rain is coming. Could they improve? No, game audio. Oh, no. It's just the new sound for spectators. The pre-recorded audio. Makes you feel like your sound goes off every now and again when it just dies completely. It's just one of the things that we have to deal with in the game. But as we move on, there's still Istvan Tomasi out on the track looking to potentially set a lap. He's done a 104.3. He has got a time on the board, but he's probably not happy with it. They could be coming around and getting to the pit lane, but no, somebody has continued. Noah has gone out on a lap. He's on the soft tyres. It is raining slightly, but I don't... Oh, he's invalidated at turn 1. That's just unfortunate. I don't think it is wet yet. I think it's good. I think it's going to be okay, but to improve on that pole time from Tristan, I don't think it's a possibility. But Tristan is out on the track right now and could potentially get himself into the mix for... I don't know what. He's still on pole. Does he feel like he's at threat, or is he going out for just for the lows and just to get on the track? Test the setup potentially? But it is still completely dry. There is no wet line on the track yet. It is still completely dry. It's going to get a bit greasy, I suspect, in some corners. Yeah, cooked game audio. You got that right, Tom. But as we follow on now with Tristan, he goes back into the pits. He doesn't feel like a lap's doable. He doesn't feel like he can do that. But Julian, I think he's going to stay out. He is. Oh, we have a spinning car at the back. Oof, Noah. And Noah's just spun around. Gets himself going again. But Julian is going to try and set a lap. So you got Lighty moving out of the way ever so kindly, allowing Julian to pass. DRS is wide open now. Flying on towards turn 4. Sending it around nicely, just a bit of a wobble, but easily corrected. This is where I wanted to see the car come into the track on these conditions. Ooh, looked a bit out of place and a bit of a slide through there. Yeah, no, he's still keeping it on. The double left-hander is not one to be trifled with. The conditions are worsening and Julian will go back into the pits. Everybody else is retiring, so we could see this being the end of qualifying. Dennis Langrock is going to go out, but he is 3/10 down on his time as he comes through. I don't see the flashing light. Well, I do see the flashing light now. So he's not going to try and push. He's not going to go for a lap. I suspect everybody is going to pit and retire. Your qualifying done within 5 minutes. Light it invalid. Yeah, everybody is going to return to the pits, I suspect, and retire. Unless there's been news on Discord of anything. But scenario is going out. Interesting. Wow, the audio is just non-existent. Okay, I could hear the apex. I could hear the tyres hitting the apex. I don't know if you could hear that, but that's what I could hear. He sends it around turn 4 now, looking to get a feel for the track in its current condition, but I don't know why. It's going to be futile, my friend, but P5 finish is still a decent finish. Yep, people retiring. There's nothing else they can do. So quite an interesting qualifying off the bat. Not a lot to talk about. No real battles for pole. It was Tristan who managed to benefit in the one-shot qualifying we've all been graced with. PSGL Austria has brought us a one-shot qualifier. So that tells me they're expecting a dry race, or they just don't see a point in continuing with the qualifying. If it was a wet race, I would have stayed out and swapped for a pair, wait for the track to get a bit more damp and test the wet tyres. Oh, Julian is out on intermediates. Speak of the devil. And Speak and it shall happen. So Julian testing those intermediates, getting a little bit of a feel for the track once again. What's it like on Inter's conditions? Just a bit of track knowledge coming his way. Istvan Tomasi sat in the pits waiting it out. I think he's waiting to see the times. Will Julian complete a lap or will he just come straight to the pits? The McLaren branded world car. Looking nice on bonnet. I do like the liveries. That's something that I will say. The liveries that people can produce, that is something I am quite interested in, especially as we run the world cars. As you should know by now, the cars are not equal. This is round 3 and race 3 of running world cars. Julian is staying out and is going to continue to potentially set a lap on the Inters. Wants to see what he can do. That was nice. Coming round turn 1. Didn't run it too wide. The rear wing is open. DRS is still enabled to the track. The FIA, the game FIA, have deemed it dry enough to still allow DRS. Now it's quite interesting as they are flashing on the rear. Flashing in wet conditions, but the DRS is enabled. Again, being so quite unusual as normal. Not something we can talk about. We can only hope to try and get the best action possible. There will be a lobby restart. It is, I think I read that right. There shall be a lobby restart to avoid any unnecessary bugs, potential safety car bugs, as Istvan Tomasi is retired. Julian comes flying around and staying out. Okay. So he's going to see what the lap time is on the intermediates. It's 109.4 on the intermediate tyres with the current greasy conditions of the track. Certainly got to be getting greasy now. He's not got the rear wing open because the DRS isn't disabled. So now we just need to wait to potentially see if it will go into the pits. Again, not a lot to talk about. It's an interesting qualifying. It's nice to see a bit of a change in the mix though. Dennis Landrock was P14 to P4 in Miami last week. He's qualified P10 today, so could it be a P10 to P1? Seems to have gained 10 places in his last race. Could he gain 10 places in this one? Ryan Jacobs, P7, another driver that could potentially be on for the mix, although the times are fairly close between P6 and P11, P12 even. It's just about a tenth, just over a tenth. So there's going to be a bit of a midfield battle, I think, unless the conditions just weren't to their favour. But we can only hope for a nice clean race. Austria being one of the fastest tracks on the circuit. You are full throttle for at least 79% of your lap, depending on how you manage your tyres. Excuse me, just had to clear my throat a second there. Bit of sip of water. As we patiently await Julian to finish. We have drivers leaving the session. What is... So, yes, the new lobby is happening. They are re-lobbying. Oh, terrible. As I switch to Discord and switch back again. The new lobby is open. So, I will bring us back to the camera. Bit of an interesting qualifying there. Bit of a one-shot with Tristan Derbicourt, obviously, getting pole position. Pablo in P2, Sasha Neeb getting himself into P3. So the order's certainly a bit mixed about here. Miltos Karafalidis is there in P4 with Scenario 7 in P5. So the top runners, 210 separating. It's not bad. Only that small margin, them fine margins. But now they get ready to re-lobby. We can take a quick look at the calendar once again while I get everything sorted. So Britain, Miami, done and out the way. A very interesting race. And the winner, being Tristan Derbicourt, is now sitting in pole position here in Austria. We have Austria to go, who you're watching right now. And then we will separate ourselves with a bit of a break. just a bit of time off to recatch ourselves, get everybody just relaxed and bit of a rest, and then we're straight back into Spain, onto Hungary, and then to Suzuka, one of my favourite tracks alongside Jeddah, another one of my favourites, if not my favourite track to watch and to see the drivers drive. Such a technical track with its fast, twisty S section coming into the first sector, but then we go on to Mexico and Belgium. Mexico, another fast track with some fast S sections, of course, going towards sector 3 once again. Belgium, the biggest, the longest track available on the Formula One calendar. It's one of those tracks that I fairly enjoy to watch. However, the drivers must be very careful with how they manage their tyres in certain scenarios. Monza, the Temple of Speed, easily got to be the fastest track on the calendar by a long shot. On to Qatar, again only recently being reintroduced to the calendar, but it's brought some spicy action and some spicy races certainly into the mix. And then on to Brazil for the final. But everything's looking mighty fine indeed to take us back once again to the lineup. Tristan Derbicourt, pole sitter, race winner, could potentially be looking to snatch another win. Nasir Khosrani didn't do too bad in his qualifying either. Potentially could work on this. The conditions were a bit unknown at the time of qualifying, as you saw with the wet weather. Sasha Neeb looking to get himself up there into the mix also. Maxim isn't racing, I don't think. I haven't seen him though. Or potentially was racing. But Julian 28, as we know, was racing, was out on the intermediate tyres, testing those tyres, getting a feel for it. Adrian Berner again joined and got some laps in. Some decent laps in. Menor is not here today. So Menor de Bava is not racing. CZK, I don't believe, is racing either. Istvan Tomasi is. Smith is not. Noah is racing. Scenario 7, as well as Luke Mills and Ryan Jacobs, with Charles Sutton, Lightit, Pablo Matex, Ethan Devaney. I've not seen. Hops, I don't think I've seen either. Alessandro Poi in the reserves. Miltos Karafalidis, reserve. Joel Lindstrom, Joao Piana, and Dennis Langrock. As we saw, Dennis Langrock, P10 in that qualifying. P1, P3, we ball. Get set in the chat. Love to see it. Again, we get ourselves ready. They set the qualifying order, wait for everybody to get back into the new lobby while we set it up. Reduces the risk of bugs that you could potentially see in the game. The game does have its fair share of issues, but we are working through them to still bring you a very entertaining show, try and bring the action to your screen. So it's all about. Everybody's here to see the spicy action. They want to see the race at hand. That's why we're all here. But I'm going to shout out now with a bit of a prediction. I think Tristan is going to win. But who I think is going to be P2 might potentially... some people might see it coming out. I'm going to put Dennis Lamrock in the mixer. I think Dennis could potentially get himself up into P2. Get himself in a good position for a race win. But we can only wait and find out to see what happens in the race. Hops is in the race, so he is racing. I did mention that I didn't see him, but he is actually racing. I can retract that statement. But as we wait on now, I think I'll put us on with a sponsor as we just wait here for the race to get back in order. And the grid is almost full. So I can only imagine that the horse Luke Mills is currently sorting out the grid order as we wait for the last driver to get himself back in. We had 18 on the grid, so that's 18 drivers all looking to push for what could potentially be a win here in the mighty Red Bull Ring, formerly known as the A1 Ring. It was quite interesting to see the name change over the years and the way the track has evolved, but track evolution happens everywhere, just as the cars evolve. My favourite era of car, personally, probably being the V10s. They were kind of nasty, if I say so myself, but we are full grid, so everybody's into the lobby. I can now confirm that we shall hopefully get everything sorted very quickly for you, get back to the action, get the race underway, try and bring you the best possible outcome. Who are you rooting for? I want to see the names in the chat. Who do you think is going to potentially take victory here? I'm shouting for Tristan. He's won in Miami. He took pole position straight out of the bat on that first one-shot quali we got given with the awful weather conditions given before us. Got very greasy, very fast, and only one driver tried to test those limits and see what happens. But I'm giving it Tristan and potentially Dennis Limerock into P2. And don't hold out for Ryan Jacobs. He was looking very, very strong in the last race in Miami. I did manage to watch that back, even though I wasn't commentating it. I got a bit held back at work and couldn't really make it. But I'm here now, and once again, looking forward to get things going and getting the ball rolling. So it is a break next week, so a bit disappointed, but it will just edge the excitement ever closer for when we head to Catalonia and we head over to Spain and get ourselves going over there. Such a very interesting track that I also like myself, but we're here for 36 laps of Austria and we still await for things to get the ball rolling. I shall take a quick look at the Discord to see where we're at. We have 18 on the grid. Was there 18 or was there 19? Joel Lindstrom, I believe we're waiting for. If that's something. I think we are waiting for Joel Lindstrom, if I'm reading this correctly. Though again, a driver that could potentially get himself up into the mix. Could he take a victory? It's anybody's game, although, did he qualify? I'm not entirely sure. Yes, he's having a bit of an issue, so he's trying to get that sorted. I can confirm that. But I'm fairly excited for the race to come at hand. Fairly excited for the race to come at hand. This is just edging my excitement ever closer, knowing that we're almost at a full grid. We're going to have 19 drivers pushing now in one of the fastest circuits on the calendar. It's only 10 corners. It's also one of the shortest tracks available on the calendar. Just happens. Just different size tracks, as we know, with Belgium being the longest track on the calendar. Mighty track, if I say so myself. There's a lot of corners to make mistakes, a lot of corners to potentially make a mistake. Excuse me. And we are 19 drivers on the grid. Just getting Joel into his grid position, and then we shall be all systems go and ready for racing action here. Round 3, F5, let's go. I'm very excited for this, I can't stress. I want to see everything as it is. I want to see these drivers go again. It's been a week. I didn't see them last week. All I saw was the replay. Didn't give me the full experience, not to see it before my very eyes and live before me. But now we get ready to see it all happen. I think we are readying up in the game. Oh, Joe was P13. Joe was already in. Oh, so it was 19 on the grid. Apologies. The one-shot qualifying really threw me off. I didn't get to do a lot of laps with people. I just saw the order just fill up. Everybody setting that lap time. It did look a bit manic out of the pits. It did. The conditions were mighty treacherous. But I think we are all systems go. People starting to ready up. So let's hope we can go and get this racing going. I'm bored away now. I want to get to the action. I want to get things flowing. Let's go. Excited to see what's going to happen. Joel Lindstrom potentially in the mix. Oh yeah, Joel's got that love heart badge. I like that. That's kind of nice. It's Green as well. He's supporting the Kicks Alba there, my friend, by any chance. But everybody is readying up, and we are on countdown for all systems go. So some good drivers, some good fast drivers to try and potentially steal victory here. The one track that I would call one of my homes and one of my favourites. I can get a good lap around here. The countdown clock begins to close. We get to that god-awful loading screen. But I remember round 1 in Silverstone, I missed lights out. I'm trying very hard not to do that again because I was too occupied with the little restart that everybody was doing, and I put on an ad, and then we missed it from our sponsor. We put on a sponsor, and yeah, it was a bit of a disaster on my first round, but now I'm trying to make it 4 lights out and get everything going and flowing nicely. It's a shame really being by myself. There's not a lot of conversation to be had. I feel like I'm just talking to myself all the time, like I'm looking in the mirror. But we can only hope that next week we do see the start of the co-commentator coming back. The sky's looking a bit grey. Little bit grim, little bit grey, but now the drivers are going to set their strategies, get their fuel correct, choose their tyres, what they're going to start on. Everybody is lined up on the grid, but we can't see them. We're looking at this pit lane of just unknown teams. We don't know who is who and what is what and who is where. But we await for green. We await for the red lights and the green flags, and all systems go, getting the power down to turn 1. I can't wait for get it started. Interesting to see. I certainly think that Derbycore is going to be on for race victory if he keeps his nose clean. But I'm not counting out Dennis Landrock, somebody who could potentially push himself back into the mix. The conditions were awfully treacherous in qualifying, as we all saw, as the drivers felt, and it wasn't nice to see, but everybody managed to put on a bit of a show for a one-shot qualifying. The grid was really packed when we come out into the qualifying session. Drivers everywhere, in front of each other, behind each other, but collisions were turned off, so people could essentially drive through them in a way on their laps. But it was interesting to see the qualifying session. How long does it take? How long does it take, boys? Are you building a setup? Let's get the ball rolling. And here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lights. The lights are out and away we go. Tristan Devercourt getting away well, but Pablo's looking to potentially attack and get upside him as he does going into turn 1. As well as Miltos Karafalidis battling there for P3, trying to get himself back into the mix. All the order jumping around, cars everywhere. Everybody on the track, but Joel Lindstrom has been sent down the order. Really sent down packing. May have been caught in an incident there, lost all the positions as everybody moved up past him. But as we see, Ryan Jacobs potentially getting himself there in for an attack as he's gone side by side coming out of turn 3, pushing on the power and does get up into P6. Tristan has lost a position out to Pablo, but Pablo isn't exactly gapping him. Charles Sutton is looking to make a move and potentially get a double overtake there on the 2 McLaren looking cars. Oh, Julian and Hops are battling it out there. It's Julian who gets ahead. Sorry, the world cars are putting me off. I'm trying to get you to the spicy action, but difficult to figure out who is who. Everybody has come around fairly nicely. A bit of an incident sending Joel and Lighty to the rear of the pack and 3.3 seconds behind the field. But as we push on now onto lap 2, Pablo setting the fastest lap. Those medium tyres are surely working indeed. I will pull up the tyre strategy as we have a mix between the medium and hard compound tyres. But Tristan now looking to potentially get past as they've gone side by side into turn 3. And he does get ahead, but Pablo has been compromised. Miltos waiting behind has fought on and took P2. Pablo dropping 2 positions in 1 corner. It's not looking good for Pablo, but can Pablo respond? As now, Miltos pushes on against Tristan, trying to take lead of the race and does take lead of the race successfully. But now, will lose out on the DRS and could potentially be under attack. We saw an estimated tyre strategy on the screen there, mediums to hards potentially being the way to go as we expect. They do have the soft tyres available to them. Could Pablo respond in any way, shape or form? But Miltos is gaining a bit of a healthy gap though as we're coming around turn 9 and 10. He is pushing very hard. Those medium tyres are working absolutely. They're fired up and ready to go. And as he sets the fastest lap of the race, really pushing away but doesn't have the DRS. So we enter DRS zone 1 now. Could Tristan potentially fight back in lead of the race? I didn't mean to press that button. I didn't realise I did that. Oh, we see him going 3 wide. Cars pushed on this contact and wing flying everywhere. A bit of debris on the track. But it looks like everybody's getting through. Still side by side is Scenario 7 trying to push against Sasha Neeb and getting back ahead. This could have opened the door though for Julian, who's now going to push it side by side. But Scenario 7 had to back out of that. Charles Sutton looking to get past though. Can Scenario 7 defend? He does. Charles Sutton now could potentially be under attack. He is side by side with Sasha Neeb. Charles Sutton pushing his way into turns 7 and 8 now. Does get ahead. It's a beautiful move from Charles Sutton. Bit of contact, but bit of elbows deep, bit of wheel banging. We can let it go. We see Julian there almost losing position. Oh no, it's Hops almost losing position, sorry. But no, is this Dennis looking to potentially gain a move though? Was that Isvanta Massi? Side by side goes Nasir Kashrani. Yeah, I said that right, didn't I? I can't remember his name. I can't remember his name. I think I got that wrong. Yep, the tyres are up. Let's get rid of the tyres. Oh. Everything's going off. Sasha Neeb getting up into P5. Julian getting up into P6 as he sends it side by side. Oh, switch back from Charles Sutton. Can he stick it as we get on the power towards turn 6? Oh, backside of it though. Julian keeping the position, but he's right on the rear diffuser there, as you can see, Julian. Interesting stuff. Everything's kicking off to a bang. A mighty fight going on between the top 10 at least, trying to fight the way through. Ryan Jacobs getting up into a fight. There's Dennis Lamrock as well, getting himself into a fight. Oh, Charles Sutton's dropping down. I think he's had a moment. I was looking at the timing screens, I didn't see it, but he's under attack. Dennis Lamrock looking to push past. Still side by side into turn 3, but there's a bit of contact as Dennis goes. Oh no. Hops now has been let through. The door has been opened wide for Hops to jump through on those two battling away. Oh, a bit of bumper badging there from Charles Sutton, but they're still ghosting into each other. Dennis Langrock looking to try and push on and take potential position away, getting himself further into the points. He is at the back of the field though. Just within the points. Does get the move done. The front now starting to pull away. So there's now a 1 second gap. The DRS has been broken between Hops. P7 has broke away. P8 downwards out of the DRS. But now Dennis Lamrock. Look, oh, there's contact between Dennis Lamrock and Hops. And Dennis Lamrock is sent spinning off as he corrected it. We can see he is back going again. He's down into 13th position. It's disaster for Dennis Lamrock. That's controversial. Did he just pull over a bit too much now as he tries to regain positions? He's pushed off again. He wasn't entitled to too much space. Oh, that's definitely a warning as Noah picks up a 3-second penalty. Tristan has caught up to the back of Miltos. Could potentially see changes in the lead once again now. On lap 6, the race is flying by. Everybody's pushing very hard. Scenario 7's getting right up to the rear of Ryan Jacobs though. Oh, Luke Mill's getting mighty close. Could he get the exit and potentially He's caught in the middle of this train. This is not good for Luke Mills. This isn't good for any of those in the midfield, really. Just falling out of the points in the back pack. They're just falling away. And being caught in that DRS train is just holding them back, Joel Lindstrom has, I think, has he been in the pits, or has he just had a moment? Yellow flags. I think he potentially had a moment. He's dropped himself down to P16. It's not looking good for Joel. See a move there for Istvan Tomasi, as well as a potential move for Hops moving up against Matex, potentially defending against him once again. Moves being made for the lower points positions. But the front runners now just running their own race. Tristan is in front of Miltos. So there has been a change in the lead. Things are getting mighty spicy as the order starts to flick around now. But Tristan's bridged a 6/10 gap. Can he keep on the push? But he's going to lose out without that DRS. Those cars lurking behind will gain. It's in the end of second sector to third sector. You need to gain all that time and try and gap the car behind. Everywhere else, they've got the DRS advantage. Getting that extra speed, it makes it easy to catch you up and drop those temps away. Charles Sutton is out of the session. Into the pits, retires and leaves. Unfortunate session for you, my friend. See you after the break. But now Miltos sending it into turn 4, looking to get past. Had to think about that then. He does get past Tristan. Tristan not defending it too harshly. There's a lot of laps to go. He just needs to manage those tyres efficiently. There's a lot of heat now since there's been a bit of an update with the way the tyres work. There's a lot more heat. Easier to burn them away. Especially with the way the handling, the new handling is. The dynamic handling, as they say. But it certainly has changed the way the setups work, especially with engine braking being introduced. It's very easy now to lock up those rear tyres with the choice of your engine braking. You can whack that up to 100% and you've got a very high chance of locking the rear and sending yourself round. But as we move on now, on to lap 9, getting to the first DRS zone, it is Miltos who will stay ahead. But Tristan's looking to line himself up for a potential move into the second DRS zone. That is the prime position to do it. Getting it done down into turn 4 seems to be a nice overtaking position to do, as he does swing it to the inside line. It's easy pickings. Miltos, Karafalidis is just not defending too harshly. It's all about strategy now. You're starting to work into your first stint. 9 laps in now, the tyres starting to burn away. They're not going to feel as good as they did at the start of the race. You just need to manage them effectively. But we'll take another quick look at the tyre graphic. As you can see, Miltos on the mediums and Tristan being on the hards, Sasha being on the hards, and then it's mediums all the way down to P9. A couple more medium runners outside of the points. Well, the mediums are certainly the tyre to be on, but the hard runners will have that medium advantage at the end of the race. They'll be able to jump on those medium tyres and finish their stint with the better grip, getting the traction down better on the exits. It's what you want to do, but the hards don't seem to be doing too bad. They are certainly within pace of the mediums, but almost making it 3 wide up into turn 3. Miltos is forced to push onto that, but it is 3 wide on the exit as Miltos loses out and potentially loses out to Sasha Neeb, who is now moving up into the lead of the race. Sasha Neeb sending it out on Miltos. It's side by side, bit of contact on the exit as they push around turn 5, looking to go to turn 6. It is Sasha Neeb who will take the lead of the race. That was beautiful racing. Really pushing on there to get a double overtake and get into the lead of the race. Took control. The harder tyre seemed to be certainly working now for Sasha Neeb. I wonder what the fuel strategy has been. Do people overfuel? Are they expecting safety cars? Certainly interesting as Sasha pulls half a second gap now. But the DRS is in Miltos' favour. He can open that rear wing and push on to try and regain lead. Oh, Tristan has had a big moment and sent off into the grass. That was insane. He's collected himself well. I don't see any damage on that front wing, but we just caught him there. He put the power down, but lit up those rear tyres, spinning it, sending him onto the grass. almost sending himself out of the race. But no, Sasha under attack from Miltos. Miltos backing out of it though as they get around turn forward. Doesn't want to take it though. He's going to wait for his time. Still a lot of laps to go. Still 25 laps remaining. A lot of racing yet to go. You're still getting through your first stint. My, gotta say, props to Tristan for saving his car there. Only losing out to P6 and he's still within a striking distance and getting into DRS as he does. As he barely gets it as he crosses the detection point. Barely got it there, just about. But now he pushes on, opens that rear wing to get himself back into the fight. Sasha Neve still leading the race. But Miltos benefiting with the DRS could potentially get closer and closer to set up in DRS zone 2 and take lead of the race. This is getting mighty spicy. Is that Julian having a look on Pablo though? Just gets himself wide in the mirrors of that F1 World car. Couldn't say team because I don't know his team. He's in the F1 World Car, but no. Miltos sending it side by side on the exit of turn 4, getting it through turn 5, getting ahead as we head into turn 6. The fast left-handers, the double left-handers. You left, straighten out, and then fly around to the left once again and try and correct yourself on the right. You are flat down, full throttle. As I said, you're full throttle for full throttle for 79% of this lap at least. Really trying to maintain the push. With a whole bit of a snap there. Miltos catching it just about. But Sasha Neve has the door potentially open for him. He's going to stay behind, but get mighty close up the rear of Miltos. The medium tyre potentially burning away. Sasha is in prime position for attack. Opens that rear wing. Gets that battery flowing. Miltos looking to defend as we get up into turn 3. Oh, it's such a harsh braking zone. We see the lockups as they push their braking points, but Sasha gets ahead. Got it round, firing it down. Gets that traction, but it is Miltos gaining with the DRS. Oh, so potentially see Julian attacking Pablo there. Laza look to the inside line, making himself large in his mirrors, looking to potentially push on for race victory. There's a podium at hand. Can Julian get himself into the mix? The order is separated by quite an amount. You have a fight between the front 6, a fight between P7 and 8, potentially a scenario 7. Could he drop Luke Mills? Who's that into the pits? It's Miltos. Miltos diving into the pits, starting off the strategies. So he is going to jump onto what I suspect being the hard tyre, unless he goes medium, medium, soft, or medium, soft, medium. It's anybody's game here in Austria. Who knows what the tyre degradation could be like. Sasha has gaps. He is out by 1.8 seconds. Julian now attacking Pablo for a podium position, opening the door for Ryan Jacobs to get the inside line and potentially make a move on Pablo. As he does say on the graphic, he's P3, potentially making a double overtake as he does. Sending it, oh, there's a sandwich there. Contact, controversy, incident as Pablo's pushed down the order. Tristan Derbico getting himself into the mix now, pushing up into P3, side by side into turn number 6 and 7. But Tristan now back onto the podium. Ryan Jacobs having an amazing moment. But could it be controversy? Ryan was ahead on the entry of the apex. He was entitled to it. But he dives into the pit lane now. That is it for his medium tyres. He's looking to cover off what was... I already forgot who dived into the pits. Pablo who dived into the pits. But it's Tristan Derbico in P2. Sasha Neve still pushing on. 3 seconds now. The hard tyres, he's really pushing. But he has to push. He needs to start to get that gap. And hope that Pablo gets held behind. But Pablo's back into the pits. Comes out on a set of hard tyres. Hard tyres. That's interesting to see. Can have a sip of water. Tristan's in a good position now. He's really got himself back into as he starts to close that gap up. Starting to potentially look to gain here When will be his pit stop strategy? He is on the hard compound tyre. Could he push it for longer? He had that moment, so he would have cost himself a bit of tyre life with that slide, losing the traction, burning the tyres a little bit. Maxim has retired, but he's in the pits. Another driver not having a good race, doesn't feel like he could do anything to bring him back into potential action. So he retires in the pit lane and gets himself out of the race. It was nice to see you, and we'll see you after the break, my friend. We shall see you at Barcelona. Still on board with Tristan. I'm hoping that... Oh, that was a bit of a moment there. Just a bit of a lock-up. Had to really send it in. Julian still having the DRS. Isn't looking like he's attacking for the move. But he could potentially do that. Pablo really fell down in the order. Ryan Jacobs 4 seconds behind Miltos. Miltos lurking behind Joel Lindstrom, who does have a penalty, so he doesn't need to push too much, but he needs to get past these cars and get himself back up in the order. He is currently, could potentially be net P1. We can only see how Sasha's strategy plays out, but he does get past both cars fairly easily, sending it through turn 7 to the inside line. We've got a nice little onboard cam of that. Julian's into the pits, getting off those medium tyres. So he has gone the longest on the mediums so far. I will take a quick look once again at the tyre situation. We see Joel still on the medium tyre, but he's into the pits. 2 cars, 15 laps. It's nicely done. It was a good stint. But the hard runners now must be feeling the pressure as the medium runners have completed their stint and have gone out on their hard tyres. They should be looking to push now all the way to the end. Tristan isn't really gaining any time to Sasha Neve out in front. Started to drop away a little bit. But it's wondering what those tyres could be like. What is the strategy? Is it lap 20? Potentially 3 more laps? Or will Tristan undercut Sasha? Try to undercut Sasha and go 1 earlier. Sasha Neve is still out in the lead. 3.5 seconds separate those two. So currently looking mighty fine for a race victory. But of course the hard runners now, as they are, well, the medium runners have completed their pit stop strategy. Ryan Jacobs and Miltos. Miltos could be the one looking to potentially attack. I wonder if Miltos boxed because of the contact between the front runners. He got a bit sandwiched there. Did he have wing damage? I mean, oof. He is still in potential contention for a good finish. He's up into P5. The cars ahead, he is net P1. The cars ahead need to box. So he is net P1. But will those medium tyres go the distance? I don't think they will. Oh, I think we just saw a bit of a battle there in P9. We do. We see Dennis Lamrock trying to attack on scenario 7. Oh no, scenario 7, sorry. Trying to attack on Julian in the McLaren branded world car. No damage. So it could potentially be a 2-stop scenario for Miltos. Pablo, 3 seconds. Ooh, that's going to seriously damage his race. He has boxed onto the hard compound tyre. He could go to the end, depending on what the tyres are like. I've heard stories that the tyres can, the hards can go forever. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I have heard the story that they can go forever. Luke Mills is in a mighty place to attack, but he's yet to pit. So he's not potentially fighting for position, but he's not letting it hold him back any. 18 laps now on those hard tyres. I think Dennis has just got himself into a bit of a battle with Hops, the second McLaren looking world car. I'm unsure on what your drivers' teams are, buddies, otherwise I would call you out by your teams, but I'm a bit unsure. Miltos is gaining rapidly. And of course he will do. Those medium tyres, mighty fresh. Still only 6 laps old. Push is on for victory. If you keep hearing a dun-dun-dun, I do apologise. Hopefully I got the audio right and it's on the game volume. But we are on board with Miltos as he looks to close that gap evermore. Matex, a 3-second penalty. That's not good for him. He's not potentially losing anything. He's outside of the points. But if he wanted to gain anything through penalties, he can't do that anymore. He's lost that ability. That has now been thrown out of the window. The pit stops have certainly spread the field a lot more than I suspected them to. I was half expecting them not to be as spread as much. I'm going to be honest, I was not expecting to see it such a wide spread throughout the field. But Nasir, I believe, is having a bit of a battle though with Scenario 7. Oh, 3 seconds as we speak about the man. As we talk to the man. He gets a 3-second penalty running wide coming out of turn 9. It's easy done. It's easy done. But Pablo looking to get ahead there. The DRS, it's easy done. Gets ahead of Ryan Jacobs. Sorry, on the timing screen, it's beautifully done. Can he catch up as the front runners are still to pit? Sasha Neeb is lost a second to Tristan as he pushes on. But Miltos now pushing it side by side as we get into turn 5. Trying to get past as he does make it easy pickings. Adrian can't defend. He's on the older tyres. 20 lap old hards for Adrian. Miltos on the 7A lap old mediums. Pushing very hard. He has that tyre life. He has that grip. As he now looks to attack Luke Mills. So Miltos, net P1, is in a perfect, absolute perfect position. But he could potentially have to box again. I don't think those medium tyres could go another 14 laps. As the hard runners are still going. 21 laps completed on those hard compound tyres. Oh, Miltos could have potentially been under attack there from Luke Mills. Luke Mills isn't letting that position go easily. As he pushes on now to try and potentially take that position away and catch the drivers ahead. So far, fairly interesting race. The strategies are now starting to come out into play. It's very interesting to see the way the race is panning out. I was expecting a close fight. But Miltos' strategy is, if he can go to the end, he will have the gap to do so. What tyre did he start on? I think he started mediums, so I think it is a medium soft. But he's certainly making the most of it. But Luke is just savouring that DRS and using it as his advantage to stay right behind Miltos. I feel like he knows that Miltos has to box again. So he's pushing on. Staying close enough to when he boxes, he can box with him. If he can, depending on how much longer Miltos decides to go. It's 22 laps on those hard compound tyres now. They're certainly going to feel mighty grim. Certainly going to feel very slidey. Like you have absolutely nothing. But he's doing very well to keep himself out there. The rear pack now are starting to catch up. Adrian Boehner is starting to etch closer to Luke Mills. 1.8 seconds separating them now. But Ryan Jacobs is right up on the tail. Oh, a bit of a snap there from Adrian. Open the door wide open for Ryan Jacobs to just sneak past and open the door for Pablo to send it into turn 1 as he does. Pablo and Luke Mills getting ahead. Adrian dropping 2 positions. But those new, fresher, harder compound tyres are working in their favour. They have boxed and they are going to the end. So they're not far behind now. They can push on and potentially get into that front fight once again as the strategies start to unfold. You saw them box and you see them back out now implementing that race strategy. It's lovely to see the way they're coming back into the fight. It is very lovely to see. Matex, it's a 10 seconds and retires in the pits. Matex has had enough. He's out of here. Ooh. I think that was a bit of a moment there from Miltos. We were just on board and saw him back out of it though. He had to slam on those brakes ever so slightly and back out of it a little bit because had a bit of a moment, potentially sliding the rear. Too much curb. Didn't want to risk anything. But he is starting to bridge a bit of a gap. Luke Mills, again, just staying within the DRS. These drivers could be opting for a hard soft. Sasha Neeb still out in front with Tristan. This could potentially be the hard soft. This is interesting. These hards are going forever. Bit of a lock up there from Sasha Neeb. We just caught that on. Burning away, but what is he planning on boxing this lap? It's 24 laps on those tyres. Pablo is mighty strong, looking at right on the rear tail of is it? No, he's having Ryan Jacobs looking right on the tail of Pablo, but they're starting to close that gap up. Did I just see a bit of rain? No, I didn't see rain. I'm just seeing things. It's just light cloud. So, with it being a bit grim conditions, the temperature being a bit... Hold on. I'm certainly seeing a few speckles of rain. I could be lying. I'm not sure. My eyes are playing tricks on me right now. But we're still on board with Pablo. As we saw Sasha Neeb into the pits. So, intermediates. It is raining. It is. I knew I saw that. I was not mistaken. The weather has took a turn for the worst. It was grim, and now it is coming down. The rain is coming. I knew I saw that. I'm not going crazy. Thank God for that. My eyes have not deceived me. That could have been disastrous. How can you commentate if you cannot see? But I can see perfectly fine. I saw that rain as Sasha Neeb has boxed for the intermediate tyre. It's a bit of an early call. It doesn't look wet. It doesn't even look surprisingly greasy. But we see Tristan into the pits, as well as Adrian into the pits. The intermediate tyres are starting to come on. Could it be wet enough? Is it starting to come down heavy enough? Miltos overtaken by Luke Mills. He didn't have the DRS. He's now under attack from Pablo. Pablo sending it side by side on the inside line as they exit turn 3. But Miltos got the power down more efficiently. Pablo is still ahead though, managing to burn a bit of that battery and take it up into... Oh, Miltos with a bit of a send though. Manages to save it. Was the contact? Bit of a controversial moment though. Could have been contact. But Pablo keeps the position and Miltos, I don't see any damage. The wing doesn't look banged up. He looks okay. What is it? Is it intermediate conditions? I don't think it is. I don't think it will be. Yet again, I'm not on the track. I can't feel the conditions. I could try sticking my hand out in the comms booth and having a feel, but nothing would happen. But it certainly is raining. The rain is coming. It just doesn't look wet. There's no spray yet. We still have DRS. Oh, Ryan Jacobs and Luke Mills are battling out for P2. Oh, Ryan Jacobs getting it done. Pablo is into P1. Pablo now leading the race. And if the conditions for the next 8 laps stay as they are and the track does not get as greasy, he's on for race victory. Take a quick look at the tyres. We're seeing lots of the order have box now. Everyone diving into the pits for the intermediate conditions, for the intermediate tyres. I don't think it's intermediates. I'm going to be honest, it doesn't look wet enough. But everybody's diving in. They're all trying to cover off that potential attack as we head on to lap 29. 7 laps to go. This is rather interesting. Even for me in the comms booth, I am unsure of what could happen, but Ryan Jacobs is risking it and stays out. So does Julian. 7 laps to go on the hard tyres as it's just a bit of drizzle. It's spitting. Hey everybody, it's spitting. But it doesn't look like it's getting any wet spots. Do we still have DRS? It's certainly getting a little bit heavier. Julian is lining up the rears a little bit though. It does look a bit greasy now. The track is starting to get a little bit greasy, a little bit open. We get a little bit slidey. Oh, yeah. Oh, big slides though. Managing to save himself well as he darts into the pit lane. Pulling over to the right-hand side to ensure his pit entry. Julian is going one more. Oh, big snap. Big bit of a snap there as he tries to put the power down on the exit of turn 10. Saves it very nicely. Surely those tyres are starting to cool down now with the way the track is evolving. The rain is easing off, if I say so. But no, it's still coming down. I don't see a wet line yet. But Sasha and Tristan are coming up now, gaining time. I'm just going to keep my eye on the time a little bit here to see as it drops away. Julian's time is dropping away, and he's dropping away dramatically. The intermediate tyres are certainly working now. Sasha went for that undercut. Tristan didn't. Tristan's a lot closer to Sasha than he was before now. So, as I said, Tristan could potentially, if he can maintain the push and get that extra pace being in these current conditions, I have every faith in Tristan Derbycore. Win this race, my friend. You can do it! Apologies for the quote. I had to get that out. That's a quote from a movie. Happy, no it's not, it's a water boy as the rain comes down. Bit of grease on the track. Adrian Berner, 10 seconds, retires in the pits. Nobody likes those 10 seconds. Everybody, as soon as they get it, nah, get out of it. Retires in the pits. Sasha Neeb still trying to push on. He's gained 2 seconds, but he has got 3 seconds. Tristan Derbycore will take race victory, providing he can stay within the 3 seconds and that Julian doesn't box. But the way that Sasha Neeb is catching is monumental. Look at that, half a second. Joel Lindstrom retires in the pits. Another driver is out of it. He's had enough. He wants to move on. We'll see you in Barcelona after the racing break, my friend, after the season break. As to you, Adrian, we shall see you after the season break. Julian into the pits. So it is Tristan, net P1, but he's closing up within a second now. No DRS, still not enabled. I think somebody's just been lapped. Oh no, it's Joel Lindstrom's car coming back out onto the track, I think. Somebody's car has come back out onto the track. Possibly Adrian. Sasha Neeb lock up, going into turn 4, but managing to save himself. Has he cost himself time? He has a little bit. Tristan still trying to look to take that victory on the track. That is what we want to see. We want to see the action. Sasha Neeb is not. He's hopefully going to defend. Don't let that penalty hold you back from bringing us some spicy racing. 4 laps remaining as the race starts to close up. Sasha's pen's removable, so it is a fight for P1. Oh, Tristan's getting mighty close now. Almost had a look to the outside line though, coming up into turn 3. But backside of it, looking to get the power down a bit more efficiently as he does. Almost gets up to the inside line there on Sasha Neeb. Just backside of it, does not get the move done. Still 3 laps remaining. Get the move on, boys. But it is a very interesting fight for the lead. I call Tristan. Who calls Sasha Neeb? I think Tristan's got this. I think Tristan could potentially have this in the bag. He has gained a 1.5 seconds over the last 2 laps to get himself right up into the fight against Sasha Neeb. Sasha boxed when it was still really dry in a way on the track. He wasn't as slick and greasy, he didn't need the intermediate tyres, so he could have burnt away his rubber that he might potentially need. He scrubbed them a little bit. As we see Tristan now try and close up onto the rear wing of Sasha Neeb. Can he get the speed on? He does send it to the outside line, trying to get the power and traction down. Does he go? He's still side by side as we get out the side of turn 2 and up into turn 3. He does back out of it, looking for a potential switchback manoeuvre, but Sasha is just very efficient at getting the power down as he is trying to send it side by side. He's looking to take the position, slamming onto the brakes into turn 4. He's still side by side into turn 4. Tristan giving it everything to take lead of the race. He feels like he could potentially get away from Sasha if he can just get the move done as he goes to the outside once again. They're still side by side. Insane, incredible racing going on here in lap 34 as he does get the move done to claim control and take P1. That removable pen isn't going to mean anything now if he can keep on the push and hope that Sasha does not have anything to respond in. I feel like Sasha could have burnt out those tyres a bit too quick when he came out on the track. It was still dry. The temperature was still there. It was just a little bit of drizzle or rain. It was nowhere near intermediate conditions, but he still came out to give it a go. Tristan now, 2 tenths separating the front 2. Will Sasha look to the inside as he does, sending it to the inside line, trying to retake that position, forcing Tristan to defend. Can Tristan defend it? They're still side by side. Oh, I need a drink. Oh, but Sasha Neeb getting the move done as we get the power down towards turn 4. The rain isn't letting off. The conditions are getting worse. We're starting to see the spray now as we get through turn 6 and 7. The spray's starting to flick up, so the conditions are getting worse. Sasha may have benefited there, getting the move done nice and early, as it still pours here in Austria, the Red Bull Ring. It's been known to be wet, but not often do we see it wet. Coming around the final corner to start what will be the final lap of round 3 in the Red Bull Ring. It's all down to Tristan now to try and give it one last push. Can he take it on the track of Sasha Neeb? Can he get close enough? He's dropped a bit of time though, but he's trying to get himself into the slipstream, trying to push on. Could he be close enough to send it? He doesn't. He's not close enough. He's just sitting behind at the minute, but he's looking to get the exit there. Little look to the inside, just doesn't have the time or doesn't get the traction. He isn't close enough. He just can't get a move down on Sasha. He's trying everything. He's making himself large, trying to make his rival push him into a mistake. Any sort of advantage he can gain. He's still trying to look to get it side by side. He's really putting the pressure on Sasha Neeb now. Sasha is driving well, defending well. Can Tristan have it out of the final corners? Turn 7, turn 8. There's only 2 corners to go, but he does look to the inside line once again. Bit of a wobble from Sasha Nee, but Sasha is still ahead. He's trying to give it everything, but it is all down to Sasha Nee, who's going to look to cross the line and take victory here in the Red Bull Ring and win. Oh no, the side by side, and Tristan takes it. No, he doesn't. It's still Sasha, unless the penalty gets removed. Tristan wins on the track by penalty default. Miltos into P2 and Sasha drops down to P3. As it stands, that will be the finishing order unless the penalty gets removed. Tristan wins on track. Oh, what a mighty fine race indeed. Dennis Lamrock down into P8. I was bigging you for P2, but we didn't see it surpass. Oh. These world cards still play with me head a little bit. I'm looking for teams and I still can't find the teams. Luke Mills, driver of the day. I'm not so sure. I didn't see much from Luke Mills if he had a good start and getting himself up into the mix, but he did certainly start down. I did see him P12 at one point. As we move on to the finishing order, I can read it out to you. Tristan takes the win on the official result before we see anything coming in penalties. Well, the unofficial result, should I say. Tristan in P1, Miltos P2, Sasha P3, Luke Mills P4, started P15, so that is driver of the day. P15 to P4, it's a good finish. Ryan Jacobs P5, Pablo P6, Julian P7, Dennis Lamrock P8. I was calling you for P2, but P8's good enough. Scenario 7, P9, Hops P10, and that will do your points finishers. Moving on to the drivers who pushed hard but were barely, just couldn't get it within the points, should I say. Lighty, Nas, I try and say your name, but I've forgotten it already. Isvan Tamasic, Noah, Joel Lindstrom, Adrian, Matex, Maxim, and Charles Sutton. A couple of DNF finishers there. Was very interesting to see. That was a lovely race to see. Well, I think that will do us for the F5, and what a mighty race it was for Austria. We will now go into the season break, and we shall not see you for another F5 race until we go to Barcelona. I shall pull up the calendar real quickly just so we can refresh ourselves and see when that is. So that race 4, after we have a bit of a brace, no racing, a bit of a break week. Come back the following week with Barcelona, and then on to Hungary, Japan, Jeddah, Mexico, Belgium, Monza, Qatar, and Brazil. So I'd love to see the spicy action that's yet to come. It was a lovely race from Tristan, taking the victory, your pole sitter, after that one-shot qualifying. The weather not being on the drivers' sides today, but it was a mighty fine race to see. My name is Corey Brooks. I've been your commentator for this evening, and I shall see you in 2 weeks' time.